What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another market update for vintage Star Wars toys. And this time we're going to focus on Hakes auctions. We've talked about them in the past. They just had lot number 235 end this past week. And there were a number of good items on this auction. And the price points were actually pretty reasonable for a lot of items. I felt like the average collector had a chance in these auctions. There wasn't like super rare prototypes, at least for the ones I'm covering in this video. But there were a number of both graded as well as ungraded mint on cards, and a lot of last 17 and some very, very fair prices on them, even after accounting for the buyer's premium. If you're new to Hakes, it's really easy to set up an account. You have to link a credit card in order to start bidding, but keep in mind, after whatever the final sales price is, you got to add 18% to that for the buyer's premium. That's what Hakes charges. And all the big auction houses charge a buyer's premium. You also got to pay for packing and shipping. But I will say this, there were some good deals, and I actually picked up 2 items in this auction, believe it or not. So whenever those get here, we'll cover that and my experience with buying on Hakes, because this is the first time I've actually successfully won anything on Hakes. I usually have no success because the prices are so crazy, but there were some good deals. So let's take a look at a few items that sold here. The first one is a loose graded Death Star Droid, graded AFA 85. It was the older style case, as you can see. It has that kind of, it's hard to see in this photo, but there's a little bar there and it's not centered, so you know it's the older style case, but it does have the dowels, so it's not like just flopping around in there. Again, it was graded 85, and the value code on it, which, you know, for those, again, who are new to Hakes and Hakes auctions, they give an estimate of what they think it's going to go for, and it came in at the lower end of the auction, and the winning bids here that I'm going to quote in this auction include the 18% buyer's premium. Please keep in mind that it does not include packing and shipping. I'll let you know how that is once I get my invoice from them for the items I won. But $214 is not terrible, you know. It depends on shipping, but, you know, it's probably a little high. But we've seen some on eBay that have sold for higher than that. So I think that $214 is pretty much in line with market, and this looked to be a really nice example. I've got an AFA 85 loose graded Death Star Droid, but it's not nearly as nice as this one. This one's in great shape. Here was the one I bid on and lost. I tried really hard on this one, but the price got completely out of control. And I went really aggressive on it, and I still wasn't even close on it. This was a 21 back transition card ESB Death Star Droid. So it's got a secret Star Wars action figure offer. Again, it's the 21 back ESB. Clear blister, really nice. Price sticker punched. So I thought I might have a chance at it, given that it's ungraded. It probably is a low 80 grade. And the value code was way off, and I knew it was when I was bidding. They valued it at $200 to $400. It sold for $1239. $1239 for an ungraded one. We just documented one on the channel like maybe a month and a half ago that was graded AFA 80 that sold for $900 and change. So I was willing to go that high, even though it was ungraded, but I couldn't compete with some of these other bidders. $1239 is way too high, in my opinion. $1239 is way too high for an ungraded 21 back transition. Given, I mean, I got a 21A back that graded straight 85s for way less than this. And I mean, you know, it is what it is, but I just feel like that was an overpay in my opinion. I wasn't willing to go that high, even though I really wanted it. It's a beautiful transition card, and you do have to pay a lot for transition cards. So, you know, maybe I'm the one who's wrong in terms of market value. Here's another transition card that I also bid on, but I lost. There's a lot of that going on. I bid on like probably 10 different items, but I did win 2 out of like 10. But this one was the 21 back boss offer figure for Han's, or secret action figure offer, whatever, for Han, and it was a large head Han. It was graded AFA 80, 80, 80, 85 were the grades. I think this price was very fair. I just had so many different bids going that I had to let some of them go, but I think this was probably a really good deal in my opinion. Clear blister, beautiful item. Let's zoom in on it so you can take a look at it. It was unpunched. It did have the price sticker there, but I think, you know, the final sales price of $1047.84 was a great deal. That was a great deal. I would have paid that. I just had too many other things I was juggling at the same time, and you know, just didn't work out for me. But looking back at it, I think that was a really good value, and it was at the very low end of Hakes' range. Another one I bid on and lost. This was a 31 back White Bespin security guard, beautiful clear blister. It's kind of like semi-unpunched. It had, it was kind of starting to pull away, but that was a gorgeous, gorgeous Bespin security guard. That's as nice as it gets right there, in my opinion, for a 31 back. I believe that's the debut card too. And that one sold for $590. It just went a little too high for me. I think my final bid was after the buyer's premium was around $500, but it went to $590, so I couldn't justify that. Here was an AFA 75 31 back B walking photo Luke Bespin. I did not bid on this one, I can promise you that. This one sold for $1,817, so close to the top end of the range, but beautiful clear blister. Both accessories are still attached inside the blister. That walking photo Luke is a high demand one. It looks like it's got a little staple punch there at the top of the card, but beautiful, beautiful Luke. And the price did not disappoint. I think that was a little bit of an overpay relative to one I know of that was ungraded but higher grade condition than this, that I think sold for $2,000 at a recent toy convention. It was thereabouts, around $2,000. And it was unpunched and in much better condition than this same item. But I think that goes down as a little bit of an overpay, but it's not terrible. It's not terrible. Here was another one, Dengar. This one was a 41 back E. Now, I told you wrong. When I showed you my Dengar pickup from the lobby sales at the recent toy convention, I had the 41 back C. This is the 41 back E. And the reason that you can know that is looking at the factory code on the back. So this is the Cater factory. And I've already forgotten which one mine's either a Smile factory, which I think it is, or a Unitoys factory, and I can't remember, but it is a different code on the back. I think it's got a U on mine, so that denotes that mine's the 41C. This one is the 41E, and it does have a little kind of crease going down there, but this is the Cater factory, so that's a nice one to pick up. And this one is a beautiful clear blister. It did have some wear around the hang tab right here. I think this one's an overpay as well. This one sold for $713.90. Including the buyer's premium, and so we'll take a look at that when we get here, when it gets here, because this is one I did get, and I'm chalking it up to an overpay, but I wanted to get it. I wanted to get it just because it was a different factory. So I've got the 41A, C, and E back now. The A and C are already been sent off to collector archive, but this 41E will be arriving here soon, so we'll take a look at it. But I definitely overpaid for it, in my opinion. But it was a beautiful clear blister. And just happy to add that one to my Dengar run. I went from 0 Dengars to 3. I mean, what's going on there? Here's another one I bid on but lost. This was a yellowed blister debut card for the Cloud Car Pilot. Beautiful item, but I couldn't justify it because of the yellowed blister. I was tempted to go higher, but I don't know. I think I'm just going to be patient and wait. Try to find one on a clear blister. But my gut says that 6 months from now, when I still haven't found one, I'm going to be regretting the fact that I didn't bid on this any further. But it sold for $590.59 after the buyer's premium. Really nice example of the debut card for the Cloud Card. That's one I'm really looking for. Another one that sold was the Luke Hoth on the 47 back free 4-LOM offer. Just some very slight yellowing, a little bit of wear around the hang tab, but it was graded AFA 80, straight 80s, yellowed blister. And that one sold for $843.70 after the buyer's premium. I think that was a very fair price in my opinion. Another one I bid on, but I stayed away. No, I didn't bid on. I'm sorry, I didn't bid on this one. This one was the Revenge of the Jedi 4-LOM, and my buddy Jay, who's a friend of the channel, he's donated some stuff to the channel. He was bidding on this one, and he did not win it. But so I stayed away from it. But I wanted to bid on it. But by the time that he said I'm out, go ahead and bid on it, it got a little too high for me. I just didn't want to bid. I couldn't say. He and I were both debating whether this is a clear blister on this 4-LOM or not. I think it's yellowed. I think it's just slightly yellowed, but he thinks it's clear. But I don't know. It just seems like it's got a very faint yellow tint to it, but maybe I'm just being picky. But that was a beautiful 4-LOM. That was really nice. That sold for $649 after the buyer's premium. I think that was a great deal, and I probably should have bid on it after Jay said he was out, but I did not. Here was a Slave 1 clear blister, die cast, beautiful item. It was kind of warped, and it had quite a bit of wear, probably an AFA 70 grade. You can see the warp there. I think that would come out in a star case. I don't know. Do they even make star cases for... I guess you can get an acrylic case for the die cast because they're bigger card backs. But anyway, that one sold for $343.97 after the buyer's premium. I think that was a steal for a clear blister mint on card Slave 1. I would have paid that all day long. And then here was the die cast. It was a yellowed blister, twin pod cloud car. It was very faintly yellowed, but in better shape than, in my opinion, than the Slave One. That one sold for $289.10. So there were some good deals in here. I think this, in my opinion, all of this evidence so far, and there's more of it in a second, but all of this to me points to that a lot of the whales that typically bid on Hakes, they don't want ungraded. They don't want to bid on ungraded stuff. So I hope that Hakes will do more auctions like this where it includes ungraded stuff. Again, it all depends on who submits stuff, right? But I think that this was a beautiful cloud car palette for $289.10 after the buyer's premium. I guarantee you, if this was on eBay, it would have sold for more than that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm hoping that Hakes will list more ungraded stuff, because the big whales really stayed away from that. They went more towards the graded stuff. But I thought this price was also reasonable for a graded R2-D2 pop-up. AFA 75, the final bid was $855 on that includes the buyer's premium. I mean, that's a great deal for an unpunched yellow blister graded R2-D2 pop-up. I mean, that is a steal of a deal, in my opinion. So there were some good deals in here. Here was one that was not a good deal. It was probably a fair deal, but this was an uncirculated 85 Luke Stormtrooper. Just beautiful last 17 Luke, unpunched. Pretty decent bubble, really, blister. It's not nearly as dark as some I've seen, but that sold for $3,374. So again, this points to kind of our premise that the whales want high grade stuff. The guys who have the deep pockets. I mean, this is an uncirculated. So somebody sent in a sealed Kenner case of these Power of the Force figures to get that uncirculated grade. So there's probably not many of these on the census for AFA. Here's another, I think, a pretty good deal. This was a Blue Saber 65 back C Luke Jedi Knight. It was only an AFA 50, but it's a Blue Saber. And this is on a very difficult to find Emperor offer with the Blue Saber. And that one sold for $576. I think that was a fantastic deal. I mean, that's probably one of the better deals in the auction, in my opinion, because to get a mint on card Blue Saber Luke is, no matter what the grade, I mean, that's a pretty fantastic deal. Another Luke Power of the Force 92 back. This one was an AFA yellowed 70 or AFA yellowed 80. Excuse me. That one sold for $1,100. $1,100. I think that's a pretty good deal because the blister on this one is only faintly yellowed. I mean, we often see these Power of the Force figures where the blisters get horse pea yellow, but this was a fantastic example. Unpunched, no price sticker, and a very clear-ish blister. So $1,100, in my opinion, was very fair for that particular example. Now I wanted to do a comparison here for the last 17 General Lando. We've got an AFA 80 and then we got an 85, and you'll see how massive the price difference is, and it supports my argument that you're going to see massive price multiples for mint on card items when they hit 85 or above. So this was an AFA 80, yellowed 80. That one sold for $472 after the buyer's premium, which is steal. That was an absolute steal of a deal. Now, what do you think the AFA 85 went for? And I'm going to let you marinate on it for a second before I show it. $1,233. Now, it's not a direct apples to apples comparison. This one had a little bit better blister. It's a little bit less yellowing to the blister. That was an AFA 85, but it sold for $1,233. Versus this one, again, it had a much darker blister, but both of them were unpunched and both of them had no price stickers. So it just shows you that, I mean, you're talking a multiple of 3 times almost to go from an 80 to an 85 for both of them were very, very nice General Landos. So that's high. That's insanity to me. I would have taken the 80 all day long, even though it was a little darker blister and lower grade. But 472 versus 1,233. I mean, it's just crazy. Here was a CAS 85 Plus Han Solo in Carbonite. Lots of good last 17 in this auction. That one sold for $1,044.30 after the buyer's premium. Beautiful example. Really nice. You know, kind of dark. Excuse me, throat's dry. A little bit dark, but CAS 85 Plus for that is a good deal. Next, we had a 92 bag EV99, 80 plus grade, and look how clear that. I mean, it was graded yellow blister. That is a gorgeous example, though, of a 99. It looks almost clear, unpunched, and again, no price stickers. That sold for $849. $849 is a fantastic deal for that. I mean, you know, documented plenty on the channel that go for that on or more on eBay. So I think 850 for that beautiful example. I mean, look how clear that blister is. That's a, I know it's yellowed, but that's a really nice example. Really nice example for that price. And again, there were some ungraded items that I thought were pretty nice. This one was a beautiful Imperial Dignitary, lots of last 17. It's only faint shading. And what I like about this one, this particular example, is that because the card back is kind of purple, and because the portion behind the blister is kind of purple, that fading almost looks purple. So you know, the fading and the yellowing of the blister is nicely masked on this example. Unpunched, no price sticker. That one sold for $481, which that's a little higher than what we see this one sell for ungraded in similar condition. This is probably 85 condition, or 80 plus at least. That's a little higher, but I would have paid that. I think I would have paid that for this one, because the way that shading of that blister worked against that card bag, it just looks good. It presents a lot better than a yellow blister usually does for the Imperial Dignitary. So $481, I think, is about right. I would have paid that. Finally, I wanted to show you a few loose vehicles that also sold. This was a used contents A-Wing. So the box was in pretty good shape overall. You can see that here. It's got the KB recommends batteries. I think that's kind of cool. I remember those stickers from when I go to KB's toy store. KB recommends alkaline batteries. But that box is in pretty great shape. Now, I want to say that this is not a unused contents, so this would not qualify for, this would not meet the qualified designation for AFA, because the stickers have been applied. You can see a little bit of peeling there, a little bit of yellowing to the white portion of the A-Wing, but a really nice example though. And the price reflected that. It sold for $708. So that would have been a nice one to send into CAS for loose vehicle grading, because I've seen them do that, and that is a nice example. Here was now this one would qualify for AFA qualified grading, Q grading. This is the Star Wars Droid side gunner vehicle. And you can see that here. That is one ugly box art there. But you can see here, it's got all the contents. The stickers are unapplied. It's got all the, the paperwork. It's got the planetary map as well as the insert. So if you sent this into CAS or to AFA, they would qualify to grade this. And that one sold for $201.90. $201 is a steal for that. That's a great deal. And then the ATL Interceptor sold for $331. Again, folks, these prices are after the 18% buyer's premium. So there were some really, really nice deals in this auction. This, again, qualified condition. So just some very fantastic deals, which is not normal for Hakes auctions. Usually the whales just buy everything up, but there were some stuff that sold at the upper end of the range. But for the most part, I feel like there were some very fair deals for the average collector. Not average, but someone who's done a good job of saving up some money. You could get some nice items in here. And there were plenty of other options. I mean, I saw some beautiful Weequay Minton cards that sold for like $150. So it's worth checking out some of these auctions that Hakes puts out, because you never know when you're going to find some nice budget options. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon.